Hartford accounts for about 24% of the state's homeless. We've certainly seen an influx due to the economy.
Well, being homeless, there really aren't any goals other than to get to go someplace to sleep that you won't get attacked, but you never have any food. Some people actually forage for food, but once a week you can go to Salvation Army at 3 o'clock in the afternoon to eat a hot meal. You don't have any really incentive to improve yourself because you don't have any goals. Goals seem out of reach.
Being hard, been very, very hard, especially in the winter. You know, not having a place to live, and it's kind of hard. Not having my family support, you know, and it's kind of hard. Have my family away from me. During the day, sometimes I go to the library. I go other churches to eat lunch, breakfast, you know, keep busy. You know, I am a drug user, but I'm in a methadone clinic, which is, you know, help me, you know, stay clean. You know, I'm in a program now, hopefully, hey, I get better. You know.
In terms of, you know, family situations, we're also there to help them in any crisis that they have, like situations where, you know, some of them, they want to get in contact with their kids again, so we try to set up appointments where I'm going to be there to, you know, explain that, you know, they have come a long way and they are willing to put everything in the past and start working from the present.
Homelessness and mental health are not a great combination because we're not open during the day, so people have to find a place to go during the day. If somebody doesn't already have a permanent bed assigned to them, then it creates more anxiety for them because they don't know if they're going to be able to get into shelter that night. So that can really increase a person's stress level, which really affects their mental health and their ability to sort things out and know what they have to do and when they have to do it. Some of the particular challenges that I have on my caseload are dealing with people who are very difficult to engage, very hard to establish trust with. So those people with schizophrenia that are on my caseload can sometimes be very challenging. There was one gentleman who's been here for years, on and off, and when I started working with him, he was intimidating, and I think he might have been trying to scare people away just to keep himself safe. But I was able to establish a relationship with him and eventually was able to get him Social Security disability, and he's now living in his own place and very happy. Sometimes they're able to do things for themselves that, given their histories, they overcome amazing obstacles.
Immaculate, we don't turn away anyone. No matter where you come from or what your situations, you can be drunk, addicted to drugs, illnesses, mental illnesses, or whatever, HIV, AIDS, we take everybody. We don't turn away no one.
One of the things that I always say really makes the Immaculate unique is that we have an amazing staff, completely dedicated to our clients, the individuals that we serve. They go above and beyond in so many ways.
Well, I think the most important thing that I offer is my own experiences, being homeless myself, and how I managed to get up out of my hole with the help of others. You know what I'm saying? Because I was homeless. You know, I was addicted to heroin and cocaine. You know, and I got some help. And what part of us getting help, you only can keep what you have by giving it away, and that's a true statement.
It was a miracle for me to get this apartment because before that, I lived for, I'm going to say about 3 or 4 years, mostly in a couple of abandoned buildings that were down on Cedar Street. It was very, very hard living because in the summertime, You know, we had to go to the hospital or to a public restroom with water bottles and fill them up, and because there's no plumbing in an abandoned building, and there was no electricity, and it was constantly running in and out to use the facilities at some place.
Much is often said about the uniqueness of Immaculate, that we are a wet shelter, that we serve people that no other people will serve. I think it's important that Immaculate continue its role to serve those other agencies, for whatever reason, can't serve or choose not to serve. And I see in the future us continuing in that vein.
I used to live here, so I know how to deal with it from being down there with them. And a couple of people know me, and I just talked to them, you know. Really what had got me homeless was being on drugs. And I never had been to a shelter before. I can't remember who it was, but somebody said, let's go to the Immaculate shelter. And once I got to this shelter, I felt like I was somebody, because this shelter accepts anybody. It could be drugs, whatever, disease, whatever. And I started realizing that there's more to life than just, you know, doing drugs. And you got to understand, some of these people coming here, they have attitudes, and you be mad at yourself, you be mad at the world, and, you know. So I sit down and I talk, and I understand them, because they know I used to live here with them. And then I was like, one day, I had made up my mind. I'm tired of being homeless. I'm tired of getting high. There's nothing there. Let me try the real world, you know? Get high on life. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
When that man answers the door to the shelter, and those guys walk in, and they see someone who looks like them, who's been where they've been, who very well might even know them or their family, who could tell a story of recovery, there's nothing more powerful than that.
The hardest part of my job is leaving here, because I'm so used to being around them. I hate to leave. I want to be here all the time so I can see what's going on, and, you know, and there's a few people on there really like me because they know I understand. They be like, yeah, this guy, he, you know, because I've been there. But my hardest part is leaving them.
A lot of what I've respected about Immaculate and Immaculate staff is it's a diverse staff. It's a staff that has been through some things themselves and brings that into their work every day. They are incredibly dedicated to the people they serve. And they're the folks who are there when someone who's been battling an addiction walks in and says, you know, I'm tired and I'm sick of this. And when it's someone who's been through it themselves and has figured out how to stay sober and how to, you know, keep a job, telling them, you know what, you do have some choices. You know, I don't care how many LCSWs you've got in the room and clinicians and doctors, man, there's nothing like that.
Yeah, I work with about 20 clients. They do not come inside the shelter. They rather not come in because a lot of people steal their stuff. You know, a lot of mental illnesses, and they can't be around a lot of people, so they rather stay outside. I have clients that have been up under the bridge for over 10 years. On a daily basis, I come in and I bag up from 25 to 30 lunches every day before I go out. And what I do out, the lunches is to help me engage with clients that I haven't met before. And I go out with socks, underwears, toiletries, basic things that clients need. And I also help them get food stamps, help them get their disability.
It starts with being in those people's lives. So it's not hanging a shingle and saying, we're a Housing First program now. The sheltering that Immaculate has done, the outreach that Immaculate has done, has made sure that that gentleman who will not talk to anybody will talk to you.
He brings us clothes, he brings us sleeping bags, he brings, you know, socks, underwear, thermal. He checks on us. He checks on us a lot, 2-3 times a week.
The first couple of years, you know, I just was like working for a paycheck. And as I've been working as years going by, you know, it humbled me, and now I do it for a passion. It ain't even about the money, about the check. I love doing my job now.
Anybody that is totally comfortable in life ought to try this for a while, and you would appreciate what you have.
Immaculate has consistently met people where they are, not demanded more of them than they can give, and that has resulted in a reduction in chronic homelessness in Hartford.
We currently operate 100 scattered site units throughout the city of Hartford. I think our biggest goal for this year is the construction and rent up of Casa de Francisco, 50 units of market rate housing on Hungerford Street.
One of the things that got me very interested in serving on the board is that the strategic plan that had really just been conceptualized was steering the Immaculate Conception Shelter and Housing Corporation towards building permanent supportive housing. So that was the strategic plan, and it really just resonated with me that not only did we want to continue to house individuals at the shelter on an emergency basis, but also that we were looking for a long-term solution to the housing problem in the city of Hartford.
The Connecticut Housing Finance Authority was coming out with a program for supportive housing. So this was permanent housing for the homeless. It had service provisions, it had construction money, and also rent subsidies. This project is scheduled to complete about the end of 2010. The idea here is that if you give people an opportunity to live independently, that this will give a stepping stone for them to be no longer homeless.
One of the reasons why Immaculate is one of the programs that I talk to legislators and government and other providers in other parts of the state about is Immaculate has been perhaps among 2 or 3 organizations in the state who have completely dedicated themselves not only to developing supportive housing, but making sure that the supportive housing that we create serves those very people who have been homeless the longest.